Yeah, I'm getting ready to pull that gas tank off, and lo and behold, we got some rusted up cotter keys up in there that I can't get into with my little sharp punch to get them out. So I'm going to show y'all something that I do. Now bear in mind, I am not telling you to do this, but I'm going to show you a little trick I come up with a long time ago. Oh, let me show you. Got my battery drill and a chunk of round stock. I'm going to rotate it opposite the rotation of the wheel. Yeah, it's definitely getting hot, so it's going to soften it, but it's only going to be a one-use tool. I don't know if you can see that fairly well, but it's only got to be as long as the bolt is thick and the diameter enough to push that cotter key out. So it should work one time. I'll grind it off and set it back under the workbench. So here it is right here. I couldn't get my wrench on because the cotter key couldn't turn the wrench. There's not enough room in there, so I could only go 1/6 of a turn at a time, and I couldn't get my wrench on. So that's what that was for right there, just to drive that cotter key right out, the broken cotter key right out the back side, so that I get my wrench on, go ahead and spin that out of there. It's double aggravating because that's a SAE fine thread up here on the other end, and it took lots of twisting. It was going to be very difficult otherwise. Well, I got the mounting bolts all loose. Time to pull this off. Now these things can be a bear sometimes. They can really be a bear. And you got to be careful not to break that sediment bowl into there. Okay, now we got to come up with a way to mount a temporary tank there.
Good morning, everyone. This is Tractorman 44. We're going to put that temporary tank on and see if we can get this old 1940, I think, International H to fire up in a few minutes.
Well, it's not pretty, but at least it's functional. This lasts for a couple of years if I need to, but I don't think it's going to take that long. But at any rate, it's nice and secure. I'm getting ready to put a couple gallons of gas in it. This is all scrap 2x4s off a little project. And this is scrap perforated angle, they call it Deficient. But that's just scrap off of another little deal. So nothing invested in it whatsoever. Piece of hanging strap here to bind it down nice and securely. And of course the scrap pipe fittings and stuff, you know, that I just had to kind of clean up and reuse. So I'm going to go dump a little gas in it, and then I'm going to go ahead and get the electric meter and check, see if I got power where it needs to be.
Now, if y'all listen real close, you can hear my son-in-law with the buzz saw in the background and sawing pole wood.
That's showing a high degree of optimism, isn't it? We're going to see what's going to happen. Need choker. Oh yeah, this is first start in about at least 8 years on this one here, I guarantee it. Boy, the float's stuck on this one too. I'm going to shut the gas off. She probably flooded like crazy. certainly is encouraging. My flute keeps sticking though. Now, did y'all see that little fog come flying back at me right there? There was a mud dauber nest that was on the fan blade, and I missed that cotton picker. I didn't think of checking in there and pulling everything off. So that was a mud dauber nest to hit the fan blade and come flying back at me. That happens quite frequently, but most of the time it's just dust and debris, you know, from setting for so long. Now, as soon as these things fire up, you know, you got to go about the business of checking the oil pressure, you know, and things like that, you know, your water temperature, make sure everything is copacetic, you know, because there's nothing worse than trying to start one up and then walking away from it and finding out you're not developing oil pressure, and, you know, you throw a rod bearing or something like that, or maybe a connecting rod out the side of the block. So you kind of got to fiddle around, you know, and check the linkages and do all that kind of stuff, and make sure everything is copacetic, so to speak. All in all, I was very pleased with how easily this thing fired up. Didn't have to do hardly anything to it at all. I guess that's a testimony to our fine international and Farmall product. I don't know what happened to the footage. I had it running for a while, then I just kind of shut it off, but somehow or another I lost that part of the video. So at any rate, we beat this one to death, and this TractorMan 44, and I am out of here.